Welcome to the Awaken Man podcast. You join myself and Yazine. Again, Ben is not here. Ben is slacking.
In Ibiza.
Yeah, Ben is actually in Ibiza. I hope that he's going to do a story on why he's going to Ibiza and what he's doing over there. Maybe you could do a whole podcast on that. In fact, I know that I need to do a podcast on that, of my experiences in Ibiza a couple of months ago. Today, though, guys, Yazine and I are going to talk about a different sort of subject. We're going to talk about something that we haven't talked about before on The Awakened Man. It is around business, and it is around whether you build a legacy business or whether you build a lifestyle business, and what both Yazine and I have learnt. Yazine has built a legacy business. I was in the process of building a legacy business. Now we've built a lifestyle business, and what we've learnt during the process, and that neither of them are easy. Neither of them are really what a lot of the internet marketing gurus will have you believe as to how easy it is and how you can scale to 100,000 or 1 million in 90 days and all of that. And so yeah, we're just going to dig in and see where the conversation goes.
Yeah.
What's the first question, mate?
That's a good question. What is your favorite saying about scaling?
I wouldn't wish scaling on my worst enemy. That is my favorite saying. So my previous business. So initially I was in corporate, right? So I started in corporate when I was 17 years old. Got straight into the working world. This was for like an architectural firm, and they took me to university one day a week, and I climbed the corporate ladder. Spent my time there, got my qualifications there, as well as earning. Left that, went and worked somewhere else, did interior design, got my qualifications in interior design as well as working. Left there, went to another organisation, and I spent another 5 years working there. And so I was in the corporate world up until 29. So I spent a good stint there. And by the time I'd left, I had a team underneath me, and I was the young buck, high flying, big things for Pete. And one day I thought, do you know what? Fuck this. And I can actually I can join the dots. I can look back at multiple, like, the straw that broke the camel's back moments on where I've done a Pete, fuck this. And this was a Pete, fuck this, when, who I'm very thankful for now, but at the time I wasn't, when my MD at the time drove in his new Porsche, and new white Porsche, beautiful looking thing. And we had just completed a big project, and biggest project that my department had done. I had won the project, so I pitched it and I'd won it. And then I had helped deliver that on site over the course of 18 months. And company made a good stack of money from it. I got shafted a little bit on the commission. And I was set to make a fair chunk of money, and I didn't. And then I saw my MD driving in his new Porsche, and I thought, fucking hell. Why am I here? Like, I'm co-leading this with another guy. We've got 100 guys on site. Like, I can do this myself. All right. Not long after that, handed a notice, started my own business. And there started Design Work Studios, which was my architectural practice. And we built that from living room up to a 3-story building in Ascot. Team of 20 people, had tenants in the building. We owned the building. And we did that over the course of 6 years. And I went through scaling problems. We grew mega quick, really quick. We were doing really well. And it was, we went from living rooms to co-working space to one rented office. Which I thought I took a 4-year lease. We outgrew it in a year. To like another temporary space, and then like another temporary office, and then to another office. And God, it was painful going through building a business. And what I'd really found myself in was what I now call the desert, where I was in this place where we needed to take a big jump up in terms of staff levels and work levels to get our head above water again, for us to be making more profit, because we were now in a position where I needed managerial staff. I also needed more admin staff. I also needed more delivery, but the problem with admin and the problem with managerial, they weren't necessarily money makers, and they weren't fulfilling. So then I needed more sales staff to generate, and it was just like never ending. And I'm like, fuck, okay, well, I figured this out. I actually need about another 7 or 8 people until we're back into making some really great profit. So this, like, scaling a business was complicated, and it was and there wasn't many people that I could lean on to find out how, like, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the wrong thing? Like, is this it now forever? Right? It was an interesting journey.
Yeah, because so you'd scale the business, right? Had this team, doing the 7 figures, driving the nice car, owning a property at Ascot High Street, right? A bunch of architects, the nice Rolex watch, right? Etc. etc. But personally, right? How would you describe your psychological conditioning?
Fucking up and down. I was so passionate about growing that business. I loved the people there, like my team, and I loved the complexity of growing a business. It was so interesting to me. What was difficult for me was the being at home and being able to be able to turn off. I didn't really have many people around me that understood what I was doing. So I'd isolated myself from many of my friends because they didn't understand, like, growing a business, and they weren't doing it themselves. And it was the same with my partner. She was very supportive, but she didn't truly understand. And because there was so much to do with growing a business, it required not just, like, my time during the day, but it also required my thinking time during the night. And it also required all the late night phone calls and so on. It was extremely stressful. And over a long period of time, I became very lonely, very isolated, and just, like, bouts of, I feel depressed, I feel anxious, this is great, this is fucking horrible. And there were some really dark moments that I personally never thought I'd get there. I was like, no, I'm fucking way stronger than that. I'd never thought I'd get there, but I absolutely got to some real dark moments.
So let me ask you this in hindsight, right? And I think someone asked us this question before, right? Knowing what you now know, right? If you had to start your business again, which we have with Awaken Men, right? What would you do differently compared to the legacy business? So Design Work Studios, the architectural practice, like the honor of doing design work for the royal family, right? 20 people, technicians, architects all over the world, right? Making a shit ton of money, like more than most entrepreneurs will make in. You're doing more in a year than most will make in a lifetime, right? And then you walked away from that, right? But now knowing what you now know, right, about that process, right? What would you do it again if you were starting another business?
I'd just do it differently. Like, I wouldn't change any of that, like that 6 years, because I learned so many lessons, and that molded me into who I am now, and it taught me a shitload on business and on leadership, on management, on how to read a P&L, right, how to look at numbers. It taught me so much because I was forced to learn because no one else was going to do it. Like, one massive mistake that I absolutely made, and is that I never truly actually had, like, a proper business model. I didn't know, So when I started that company, I was just I was a technician. I was the architect really. So I was an operator, and I moved into being an owner. And it took me a number of years to go, hang on a minute, do we actually need a proper like bit of a model here of like how to acquire clients effectively, how to deliver effectively, how to increase like the lifetime value of a client, how to keep like increase the average value of a client, and what is that? What's the model that's going to work for this particular business? And it took me ages to even start thinking about that, because it was just like go, build. And so one of the biggest lessons that I absolutely learned, like moving forward, is that's one of the first things I'll look at is, well, like, what's the actual model like to move forward, and is that model, is it scalable, or is it going to have its constraints?
So it's actually interesting that you mentioned this, right? So I think most people, especially digital nomads, lifestyle entrepreneurs, people starting a business, right? So we've read books, right? We've listened to podcasts, maybe hired a mentor, and the fucking fixation is on outcomes, right? What is the outcome of me doing this? It's, well, if start a business, make 6 figures in 90 days, make 7 figures in a year, blah, 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 right? What people don't, I think what most people don't get, right, is, and so as psychologists, we actually differentiate between outcome goals and process goals, right? So a process goal is literally, right, yes, I have a big goal, my someday goal, that someday, yeah, I want to run a company that makes 10 figures, 9 figures, whatever that is for me, right? Or I want a company where I have X amount that allows me to do blah, blah, blah. But there is a someday goal, right? What we then forget is the fact that what you actually need, right, and you need to be fucking fixated on, is to have process or system goals, right? So what is the system that is going to get me there? What is the process that when I get up today in the morning, right, this is the process that come hell or high water, no matter how I feel, right, this is the process that I'm going to do, right? I think most entrepreneurs have been deluded, especially those of us starting small companies, online, digital nomads, lifestyle entrepreneurs. We've been deluded into believing, well, as long as I set myself an outcome goal, as long as I say to myself, I'm going to do 7 figures this year, right, it will happen. Why? Because I'm going to sit on a mountain and manifest, align my chakras, right? Think about it. I read in a book, it says, well, if you think about it, the more you think about it, the more your mind will align with it, right? And we forget the fact that what we should be focusing on, right, is what is the process, right? What is the system, right? How do I create more systems that will actually allow me, right, to get there, right? And again, I think we also overcomplicate the fact that those systems, we complexify them. We think, well, in order for me to achieve X with my business, I need to have the most complicated, sophisticated system on the planet, right? And yes, again, I think if you're building a legacy business, if you're building a business that you want to be in existence 50 years from now, doing 7, 8, 9 figures, whatever, awesome, right? Then yes, complexify it, because in order for you to survive, right? But if you're building a lifestyle business, if you're building one, right, that is about you and the lifestyle you lead, right? I think we need to move away from this ridiculous fixation on the outcome, right? And focus on what is the process that will get me there.
Yeah. The business that we have now with Awaken Man is extremely different to both mine and your businesses. Yeah. You've got a big family legacy-based business, lots and lots of employees, and it's been around for a long time. This business, although we've grown it pretty quickly in the scheme of things, it's still fucking tough. They're like, there's still like a ton of complexity that goes along with building a lifestyle business. And I think like what I see, well, what we all see is like the Instagram show reel. You probably, I mean, if you follow me, you will see part of the show reel, right? Because I post a lot on my stories and so on. But I'd like to think I'm also pretty honest on there as well. And there's a lot of the show reel, and it's you know, it's easy to build a lifestyle business, and you know, you can get to your 6 figures and your 7 figures just by doing X, Y, and Z, and you can drive the Ferraris and so on. But there's a fuckload that goes with it. Like even so, we've moved our business to Dubai for certain reasons, and it's been a ball ache. It's been a massive ball ache. It's like even just setting up the bank account, which has been torturous. We've had to pay a shitload of money to get it done. It's taken a load of time. 2 days ago, Yazine and I, 7 o'clock at night, we're in Dubai Mall, sat in the phone store, both getting phone contracts, just so we can receive those OTP little codes, security codes, so we can both log into the internet banking. Just like £70 a month per contract, just so we can receive codes. And then we got that sorted, and the code, and we still couldn't log into the internet banking. Still wouldn't work. It's like there's all these like minuscule complexities of like actually setting up a lifestyle business that probably aren't talked about and very glazed over.
Yeah, I think if you look at what most people say, right? So become a digital nomad, start a lifestyle business, travel the world, move your business move it out of the UK. Well, you know what? Some people say the UK is not business friendly. You're paying too much taxes in the US or Canada, wherever. So move it to another country that's nomad friendly, right? So move it to Dubai. It's going to be fucking simple. It's going to be simple. Yeah, you know what? Within 2-3 weeks, it'll be sorted out. You'll be a digital nomad, living the lifestyle, traveling the world, right? But guess what, right? It is literally, right? And so then your focus is on the outcome. Well, I'm going to set up this business. The outcome is going to be that I'm going to be traveling the world, right? Going to all of these exotic locations, running my company off the laptop, right? Earning a shit ton of money, right? No problems. And guys, honestly, we've both worked in corps. I was responsible for over 40,000 employees, right? In a multi-billion-dollar company, right? Where myself and someone else like go ran a $3 billion division, right, with 8,000 employees, right? I've built another business to 9 figures, right? And I've been around the block. I've been doing entrepreneurship for 30 years, right? Then we started the Waken Man. And so automatically you think to yourself, well, you know what? Been around the block, run billion-dollar companies, started a 9-figure one, it's going to be easy. And guess what? It is not as easy as the gurus and the authors and the experts and the influencers tell you, right? And again, it comes down to this, that if you focus on the outcome, right? As soon as something goes wrong, right? Guess what? You want to give up. Why? Because no one told me that, yes, if you move the company to Dubai, right, because of regulations, it is fucking onerous to open a bank account. Like literally. Our accountant said to us, and the agent that we used to handle our stuff in Dubai today said to us, guess what? It's going to be another 5 weeks, right, to set up a bank account. Also, the bank wants you to guarantee the validity of your account. Well, how do you do that? Well, you need, and we're going to be transparent here, you need to put in between 250 and 300,000 dirhams, which is 50 to 60,000 pounds. Now, guess what? No one told us, if you are a lifestyle entrepreneur just starting up, right, who the fuck is 50 to 60,000 pounds just sitting around to sit in a bank account?
In cash.
Right, in cash, right?
Just to set it up.
So no one said, well, become a lifestyle entrepreneur, move your company to Dubai, open a bank account. We're lucky in a way that the business has generated money for us, that we can do that, right? But again, not everyone. Tommy in the US or the UK, whoever, starting a business, wants to travel the world with his family. Okay, so I'm paying HMRC 20% VAT. I'm paying company taxes. Someone said to me, well, I follow an influencer. Influencer said, move the company to Dubai. I moved it to Dubai, and guess what?
Yeah.
I can't open a fucking bank account because Do you guys see that? And so if you're so fixated on the outcome, that outcome that you had of traveling the world, right? And I joked with Pete, we've been to Dubai, what, 4 times this year?
This is fifth.
Right? The fifth, we literally, every time, what, we 20 meters from the beach. How many times have we gone to the beach?
Once.
Once. Guys, literally, right? Do you see that it is not as glamorous and awesome?
As the show reels will,
Yeah,
will make you
like
think.
we've literally been where we got you on Monday, right? We've literally been inside in meetings, right? Meeting with our assistant, meeting with the accountant, meeting with the agent, trying to sort out the banking, trying to sort out all of the nitty gritty stuff, right?
Yeah, I think it's very, very underestimated how much work goes into building a lifestyle business and being an entrepreneur. And here's, is a shameless plug for Heroic Man and Awaken Man, is that, and I absolutely learned this, is that my businesses would only grow as much as I was willing to grow myself. Like, I was only able to lead my team as much as I was willing to lead myself and the level I'm willing to lead myself. It's why the work we do with Awaken Man is so freaking powerful. And we don't really teach business there. We talk about it, but we don't. But most of the guys will do better because they become better leaders and they're more resilient. And when these glitches come up, they're able to keep going through the glitches, and when these testing days come up, because not every day is a fucking good day, when they're tested, they keep going because they've built that resilience there.
Yeah, and the other thing is, again, being transparent. We will probably end up doing $1 million this year, right? And you can look at it and say, wow, right, £1 million, right? That's what, nearly $2 million US, right? 5 million dirhams, whatever. Awesome, right? What people don't actually realize is that even though Pete and myself have built previous companies between 7, 8, 9 figures, right? We never did it 1 year. I started the Awaken Man 2019, right? It literally has taken us 4 years, right, to get there. I've read all of the books from the E-Myth to the 4-hour work week and in between, right? Listen to hundreds of podcasts, watch YouTube videos, etc., about building and scaling a lifestyle business. But even with the previous experience, running billion-dollar companies, owning brick and mortar 7, 8, 9 figure businesses, it hasn't been as easy as people said. It hasn't been where someone says, well, just build it and they'll come. Post on Instagram, post stories, people will automatically buy from you. It's not, right? We've like fixated on this idea, well, if I do it, people are literally going to line up, right? Without me actually doing the fucking work, right? And we know for ourselves, like the amount, guys, honestly, right? We work fucking hard. Yes, we've traveled the world. We've been to a bunch of places. We've been to Dubai 5 times. Pete's been to South Africa how many?
3.
3 times in the last year, right? Been to Dubai 5 times. He was in Ibiza a little while back, right? Etc. Yes, those things are great. They benefits of running the business, but the business is fucking tough to run, right? It's not as easy as, and I think if you move beyond the delusion that it's going to be easy, right? You absolutely can build a great lifestyle business, right? But it's predicated on the fact that you have to be willing to do the fucking work.
Yeah,
Right?
100%. And to have that focus on like you said, the processes. It's here we joke about that. Pete loves a fucking blueprint, and I do, because if I can blueprint something, if I can decode something and go, well, here's a process that I will just follow repeatedly and it will work. And I think, and a lot of the time, this is a lot of the fucking time, those blueprints are fucking boring. They are meticulous. They are boring. Don't necessarily want to do them. It's monotonous. It's the same stuff over and over again. And I think that's probably a massive fuck up in the building a lifestyle business industry, is that we think it's going to be all sunshine and rainbows, and we'll be sitting there with a pina colada, just making a couple of phone calls on the beach, and it's not like that. Like there is the constant boring work that you have to be disciplined enough to do.
I mean, like, number one, take Apple for example. If Apple believed their MacBook Pros and MacBook Airs were sand-proof and heat-proof, they would have literally advertised the fact. But they're not, right? So you can't sit on the beach doing fuck all, right, and expecting. And I think it also comes to this, that if you look at the Awakened Men, right? So, like today, people look at us, people look at other successful men's businesses and say, well, you know what? I also want to be a men's coach, which is great. I think there absolutely is a need, right? But the question is, right, can you see yourself doing this 6 months, 9 months, 12 months? Because the truth is, we started the Awakened Men in 2019. I literally, right, wrote content in the Facebook group every day without fail, Sunday to Sunday for 2 years, right? When did we launch the program? 2021, right? Yeah. It literally took 2 years of right, creating content every day, right, for people to come back and say, well, you know what? We've now trusted you enough, right, to invest a significant amount of money with you. Right? Most people start the business, they'll post 1 day, 2 days, do a couple of stories, 3 weeks, 4 weeks down the line, haven't made any sales, and think to herself, well, you know what? It's not working out.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever their business is, whether you're a copywriter, whether you're a men's coach, whether you're a fitness coach, a well-being coach, whatever that thing is you're doing, right? Too many of us, we've been deluded into believing, if I just pitch up one day, do a bit of content, right? The question is, are you willing and are you able to, even when you're not making money, to consistently be out there, right? Showing up day after fucking day, no matter how crappy you feel.
Yeah,
right.
The other bit there is that sometimes when you start out, you might get clients really, really quickly. You know, there might be people in the world that are just waiting for you to release something, and you might go quick. Oh yeah, brilliant! First month, I just made 20 grand, or just made 50 grand, or made 10, whatever that looks like. This is easy, and then the next month the clients don't come in because now all the real hot ones that were there, kind of waiting for you on the sidelines, they're not there anymore. And then it can get tough, and then that's when you've, like Yassine was just saying, you have to keep going.
You have to be resilient.
You have to
right?
be resilient.
And say, well, I had a great month. The month afterwards, not so good, glitch in the system, right? Am I willing to roll up my sleeves, put on the gumboots, go out in the swamp, and fucking do the work? Am I willing to reach out to hundreds of people? Right? I'm passionate about men's work, right? Am I willing to engage in hundreds of conversations with people about the work I do? Am I willing to be rejected? Am I willing for people to say, fuck off?
It's like this podcast. We started this podcast 18 months ago, and we've been very, very consistent with it. We're now in the top 1% of podcast hosts, right? We're proud of that. But I recall saying this to Ben. I was like, Ben, I will grow this podcast one man at a time. I will literally send it. And I was at the very start. And even now, I send the link one man at a time. I'm speaking to a new guy. He's getting the link. He's getting the link. I will grow this thing one freaking man at a time. We'll be consistent with it. And like that, yeah, that is boring. Me sending individual links out of our podcast, there's no fun around that. But that is the mentality you need. And now, ultimately for us, like when in the first couple of months, we started getting 50 listeners, and we started getting 50 to 100 listeners. Now we get 200 listeners a day. And that's increasing, but that's only because we were consistent with the work, even when we weren't at the very start getting the results. We're willing to test, and we're willing to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people, when they start the business, they're all about that big goal, the someday goal, which you need to have, right? Even the science is unequivocal about this. You need to have a someday goal, right? And then what do? You literally need to come back into the now, right? Someday, I hope to have a business that allows me to travel to all 200 countries and territories in the world, right? Take my family, every time I fly, I want to fly business class, right? I want to live in 5-star resorts, whatever, right? That's a someday goal, right? But fucking today, right? What is the process that's going to get me there? What do I need to do? And it's about like the science of dominoes, right? So take a domino, right? A domino that's half inch or quarter inch, right? So domino number one, right? And so you're doubling the dominoes, right? So the one afterwards is twice as 50% bigger and bigger and bigger, right? So if you start with domino, that's a half an inch, right? Domino number 2 would be an inch. By number 3 would be 3 inches, right? By number 8, it would be 3 feet tall. Domino number 10 would be the size of an average basketball player, right? Domino number 18, right, would be the size of the Leaning Tower of Pisa, right? Domino number 27, domino number 37 would be the size of Mount Everest.
Wow.
Domino number 51, right, would literally cover the distance between here and the moon, right? Now, here's the thing about the domino. If at this point, right, if we were able to stack 51 dominoes that reach from here to the moon, right, each one being 50% bigger than the other one, right, that tiny half an inch domino, right, if I tipped it, right, it would literally be able to top the 51st domino, right, that is big enough to reach all the way to the moon, right? And the thing is, yes, that last one, your moonshot goal, right? Do you see that you cannot get to the fucking moon, right, without having the tiny dominoes, right? What are the tiny stuff that I need to knock off today, right? Such that I do it, right? At some point, 5 years, 10 years down the line, right, I would have achieved my moonshot goal, right? And then it is to be fucking focused on that day after day, no matter how I feel, right? I get up in the morning, I don't feel well, you know what? Made money, didn't make money, don't feel good, but guess what? I'm going to chip away at that fucking little tiny domino, right? And guess what? Sometimes when you're chipping away at it, there is no glamour, right? There is no traveling the world. There is no lifestyle, right? But are you willing to do all of that day after day until you get to a place where you do travel the world, right? We've talked about this with the Awakened Man. The first 2 years, it was me by myself, right? The two of us said, we're going to run a business. You're going to continue being in Design Work Studios. When you have time, right, you'll take time, right? But in the background, we built the business. There was we made no money for 2 years, right? Actually, we made no money for 3 years. Because even after year 1, when we started Awaken, what did we do in the first year? It's like 300,000 pounds in year number 3, right? How much money did we take home? Fuck all.
Yeah.
Right, guys, you see that in year 3 we made about 300, 400,000 pounds, right? And between Pete and myself, right, we paid Ben a salary, but Pete and myself took fuck all home, right? The question then, right, is lots of people will tell you, you know what? Oh, I'm running a business. My business has $500,000, $1 million, right? How much fucking money do they actually make, right?
Yeah.
And are you willing, right, to be in there for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years where you're not making any money, right? Now we what? This is year at the end of this year will be year number 5, right? Where we're a place where we earn a decent sum of money, right? But are you willing, right, to do this day after fucking day, right? Where you haven't made money, where the business can't pay you what you think you're worth.
Yeah. Yeah. And when I left my previous business, I was earning good money, and I had investments to come into something that wasn't guaranteed. It was a ballsy move, but it was one of my Pete fuck it moments. It was one of my straw that broke the camel's back. Fuck this! I'm going to go all in with this, and I was fortunate that I did have a little bit of backing into like financially. But something that I've absolutely embodied is playing full out with this. It is like I wasn't just dipping my toes in here. I wasn't just like half a leg is over the fence. It was no, I'm fucking full in. I'm all out, guns blazing. I'm playing full out with this. Like there's no option that this is going to work. And I think that's like with any business. If you've got this like half-hearted attitude or toes just dipping in, you're probably going to struggle to make it work. And even if it doesn't work, when you're playing full out, you still learn a shitload of lessons for the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Like with us, with the Awakened Men, right? In the beginning of the year, we said, we've done the Awakened Men, let's try something else. We brought someone on, right? Guess what? It didn't work out. We learned a fucking bunch of painful lessons, right? About going forward, who do we partner with, right? Doing fucking integrity checks on people, right? Like literally, right? Etc. etc.
Bearing in mind, Eugene has hired thousands of people.
Yeah.
I've hired a lot of people. I've interviewed hundreds of people, and we made a wrong choice. And it happens. Everyone's like, oh, I want to get a team, get a nice little team behind me, so I can just delegate all the work, and then I can sit on the beach or whatever that looks like, or I can just do the stuff that I'm my zone of genius and I'm passionate about. Getting the right people on board is really, really hard. It's really, really difficult. And then being able to manage and lead those people there's an art to that. It's a real skill set.
Yeah, which is why I think most people shouldn't scale. We've talked about this, right? That I wouldn't wish scaling on my worst enemy. Even if I like fucking hate you, if I want to bash your face in, right? If I wish you dead, right? I still wouldn't wish scaling on you.
Yeah.
Right.
One of my personal one-to-one clients messaged me this morning. So he is building a legacy business, right? And over the last 3 or 4 months, I don't know how many people he's gone through, 5 or 6 people that have come and joined the team. And he just messaged me this morning, Pete, just had to fire someone. Wasn't right for the team. And then his wife messaged me and was like, why is it so difficult to find great people? And these guys are great. They know, they understand, because we talk about it. So this isn't an easy journey. There's going to be times where we're going to take 3 steps forward and then take 2 steps back, and sometimes it might be 3 steps back. And this is, you are going through scaling a business, and it is difficult, and you're going to go through people and that's part of the journey.
And I think even when it comes to a team, right? So we scale. We're doing 5 million, 6 million. And we've talked about this with Marco. Myself and Marco ran a business. We're doing 5, 6 million a year, right? When I hired someone from guy had a great corporate career, he was doing fucking well. We said to him, well, you know what, we're at the stage where, and we'd grown the business, we had like 30, 40 employees, right? Huge amount of contracts, right? He said, why don't you join us, right? He joined. Guess what? Within 2 months, right, a shit ton of things happened, right? The American-Canadian government decided to renegotiate NAFTA. Donald Trump wasn't happy with it. Americans felt that Canadian lumber, which the industry we were in, was affecting. So they put moratoriums on and import duties on it, whatever. Guess what? 80% of our business was selling to the US. 5 million a year, 4 million of that selling to the US. All of a sudden, American companies came back and, well, you know what? It's no longer feasible to import from Canada. We might as well support local businesses. That's what the government is saying, right? Within 2 to 3 months, the fucking entire business dried up, right? And guys, here's the thing, right? Build a team is great. Guess what? When you come to the 24th of the fucking month, payroll is got on the 26th. You look at your bank account, you have 40 people. It's not just 40 people, it's 40 people whose family depends on you, right? There is no fucking money in the bank account. Your receivables, right? Clients who should have paid you days and weeks ago haven't paid you because the economy is shit, right? Terms are 7 days, maybe you're lucky you get 30 days. It's 40, 50, 60 days. Your clients haven't paid you. But guess what? That client could be Target, right? One of the fucking largest retail stores in the world, saying to you, well, guess what, buddy? You're not going to get paid this month. But we haven't been paid in 60 days. Too bad. Now what do? How the fuck do you pay your employees?
Yeah.
When you have 40 people working for you, guess what? Do you know where the money comes out? From your own pocket. You yourself don't take a salary, right? And then the question is, yes, everyone will say scale, scale, scale. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to literally carry everyone else's burden? Because you are literally, as a manager, I know this. Maybe I was lucky that I had a master's in psychology, but I literally sometimes felt that I was both the parent and everyone's psychotherapist, right? And a financial director, their banker, their priest, their mother, father, everything in one.
This podcast might have sounded a bit of like doom and gloom. However, and there's a massive fucking however is that Yazine and I and Ben, we love it. Like there'll be nothing that we would change here. You have to be a certain type of psychotic to want to go into entrepreneurship. But when you're in there, it is the greatest journey. It is incredibly fulfilling. It is, I believe, it is the greatest path to personal growth and self-growth. You learn so much about yourself. If you're intentional with it as well, you can meet some great people and surround yourself with guys and girls that are on amazing paths, and it can completely change the trajectory of your life. Like, I wouldn't change this for the world. I love it. And on the other side of like the pain and the adversity and the shit, like, is great times.
Yeah.
Like, we get to travel to exotic places. We get to do cool stuff. Right, we get to chill here in this podcast studio and have a chat about and ultimately for us, like, we are helping other guys, and I'd absolutely say this, that, you know, if you are on this journey, find a community of other guys that are doing a similar sort of thing. It's one of the best things you can ever freaking do. It's one of the best things I ever did. It's how I met Yazine, is that I joined a community of other guys that were building businesses and that wanted more out of life, and it helps massively.
I think that's incredibly important. I think that the myth of a solopreneur, right, is a myth. I think that if you want to build a successful lifestyle business, find a partner who complements you, right? And we've talked about this before, right? I'm the vision guy, the CEO type, right? I have a million ideas, right? But I'm also the type of person that will find a million reasons wrong, right? But when I do find something to do, Pete, on the other hand, is fucking great at executing, right? I think most entrepreneurs like get caught up in the vision and never ever execute, right? What you do need to do, if ask yourself, if you're not the type of person that can take the action, do the action, right? Find a partner, find someone who complements you, right? Who can make your ideas into fucking reality.
Yeah, 100%. Right? And if you haven't got that person, like, you can have the best plan in the fucking world, but if you're not taking action on that plan, then it's not going to go anywhere. Like, it's got to be every day action, 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 action. Fuck up. Bit of planning, action, action, action. Right, that's how you get there. Right, we could talk for a lot longer. We've been talking for a while, guys. That is us wrapped up for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Something slightly different. We will be back with some more episodes. Don't forget to follow myself on Instagram. It's Pete_Taylor, and follow Ben as well at Coach Benjamin Owen. Team, catch you later.
Thanks, guys.